Hey guys, how you doing? It's Kevtech here, bringing you another video on information technology. I hope you're having a good day. Happy Sunday. And today I want to go over Office 365 Exchange Admin Center. And I'm going to break it down. I'm not going to go over every single thing. Today we're just going to go over mailboxes, and I'm going to break it down in a non-technical way that you'll understand it. And the reason why I do that is because I know there's some people here that have some people learn. Some people have their own way of learning, right? So we have to break it down into smaller parts. That way everyone understands what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me share my screen with you and show you what I mean. All right, so today we're going to go over Office 365, and obviously I'm going to put a timeline on everything so you get to see what I'm talking about. You can skip certain parts if you don't care about it. So what is a SIP address? What is SMTP? So SIP is a session initiation protocol. This is also used for TCP/IP based network protocol. You could use this to set up and control communication on several subscribers. Think of it as a contact number for yourself that follows you everywhere you go. So SIP address is commonly seen on instant messages, POP, video calls. Where have I seen this? I've seen this in Skype for Business. So if you're an admin, like I'm an admin myself. So if you have a link server, you will set up a SIP address for that person that's starting on Monday morning. That way they're able to log into their account using Skype for Business. Another way you'll see this is a SIP address is when you're doing a video call using Polycom systems in a VC room. So it depends where you are, but that's where I have seen it. SMTP is simple mail transfer protocol server application, which is used to send, receive, and relay outgoing mail between senders and receivers. There are ports for default unencrypted, which is SMTP. So the ports are 25, 587, 25, 25. Ports for SMTP with SSL. 465, 250, 25. Just remember those ports. You may be asked that in a job interview. You may not, but it's good to know anyway, right? Then there is POP3, and what is IMAP? POP3 is non-encrypted. POP3 is port 1110 or 110, 110. Port 995, connect using POP3 secure. That's what that is. In case you go in an interview, you would know what the port number is. Post Office Protocol 3. This is for receiving email. POP3 is like your UPS, FedEx, your mailman who holds your email until it's picked up. That's basically what it is. Hey, here, I'm going to hold your email. That's basically what it is. It lets you download email messages on your local PC and read it even if you're offline. That's the benefits of POP3. Then you have IMAP, which is using port 143. IMAP is non-encrypted, 143. Port 993 is connecting using IMAP secure. Then there is IMAP, which is Internet Message Access Protocol. That's basically what it means. Lets you access emails wherever you go, basically reading emails from a server. Because of this, you could check your email on different devices without missing a thing. That's the benefits of it. Both protocols are commonly used on an email client. For example, if you're using Outlook and you're setting up Gmail on an Outlook client, that's an example. And I'll put a screenshot here somewhere and you can see what I'm talking about. But typically, you will set up ports for 1110 or some sort of port for Gmail. If you're setting up Gmail, you have to do POP3 and IMAP on Outlook. That's just how it's set up. So if you want to add Outlook on a Gmail account, that's the way you will do it. Okay. What is MAPI or MAPI? Messaging Application Programming Interface. This allows you to access email using Outlook or MAPI email clients. Mailbox will continue to get emails if the person can access emails using Outlook web app or POP email client or IMAP client. By default, MAPI, POP3, IMAP 4 email clients is enabled when Mailbox is created. So basically what this is if you disable MAPI, you're basically disabling the Outlook desktop application. So I can't use the Outlook down here on the bottom. That's basically what it does. So if you remove this or disable it, then your Outlook app will not work at all. That's basically what it is. Okay. So now when we think about, see, I went over here and looked at Internet Message Access Protocol. So when we think about Outlook, we think about Office 365. When we think about Office 365, we think about Admin Center, right? So this is where I went to. You got to go into office.com. All right. You see this beautiful page right over here. You click on the tabs on the top. You click on Admin. And then you scroll all the way down to show all and you click exchange. That's what I'm going over today. And immediately you're welcomed by this background, the setup, right? I'm using the classic version of it, which is the old version, which is this one. So this is how I got into this, if that makes sense. So I'm going to close out of that. And today we're just going to go over just mailboxes, but everything in mailboxes, not just like one thing. You'll see what I mean, right? So you double click on Kevin Pornorio. You have all these tabs right over here. Before I even go over that, you have this edit button right here. You have this magnifying glass to search someone. You have the refresh button. You have add, remove columns, set default messages, restriction size. You have delete mailbox if I want to delete this mailbox. You have export data to CSV file, which means it goes over into like an Excel file. You have your advanced search. And then if you click on it, if you click on Kev over here on the right-hand side, you have unified messaging system, which is used for Cisco Call Manager. If you know anything about Cisco Call Manager, we're not using that today. You have mobile devices. You have convert to share mailbox. If you want to convert this mailbox into a share mailbox, you can. You have your archiving. You have your place in hold and email connectivity. So if you double click on Kevin Pornorio, you get to see his first name, his last name, his display name. If you click on it, it tells you more about it. It tells you the name will appear on the address book on the to and from line when this email is sent from this mailbox. It's basically what it is. So if I replace the name to something else, it's going to come up with a different name, obviously. Aliases is a portion of the email address on the left side of the @ symbol. It must be unique to your organization. So my aliases or my unique ID is Kevin at kevtechitsupport.com. And then here you can hide it from the address book. So it says here, if you select this option, the user will not be able to see you anymore. So typically when you disable an account on an Active Directory, right? You might have to go into here on Office 365 on Exchange Admin Center, and you may have to hide them from the address book. So basically they no longer show up over here. So if you create a new message, right? And if I type Kevin Pornorio, it's going to show up. But if I go over here, right? And I do hide from address book, he will no longer show up. That's basically what I'm doing with that option. So if you go here and you check mark it and you hit save, he's not going to show up anymore. That's basically what that is. So you're not going to delete the account. We don't do that, right? We hide it from the address book. That's what we do. All right. So mailbox usage is when I last logged in. This is accurate because I opened up Outlook web app a couple minutes ago. So it was like literally a minute ago. So this makes sense. Here too, it says the quota, what the mailbox quota is for me. How much I've been using for emails. Then you have your contact information. You may have to fill this out in your job because a lot of companies have you do this. You have to fill out their name, their email, their fax number, their office number, their work number. And then when you do all that, it replicates over here. And then you see all their contact information right over here. You get to see everything that they're, that's there. That's basically what that's for, right? Then you have your organization. So you may have, they may be like, I don't know, like human resources, right? So maybe they are HR manager and you put HR manager right here. Maybe they're part of an HR department and then you put their company, whatever it is. Mine is Kevtech IT support, right? So that's basically what this is. And if you have a manager you got to put in there, you put a manager in there. You have email addresses, right? Email address by default, it selects one reply email address. And then it says here the default reply address is display in bold. To change that default reply address, select the email address that you want to set as default and double click to edit it. So here it used to be this one right over here. It used to be Kevin IT support, kevinitsupport.onmicrosoft.com. I actually have a website called kevtechitsupport.com and I parked it to Office 365. So now I own kevtechitsupport.com as my email address. So I went here and I changed it to this one. This is the default email address. And here you'll be asked to do this, by the way. So if you work in a job environment, you may have a guy like, I don't know, like Richard Young, blah, 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 blah. And their email is too long, right? And they're like, can you just change my email to Richard at kevtechitsupport.com? Yeah, I'll do that for you right now. So then you would create another email address right over here. And you make that the reply email address. And you make that as the default email address. Because what if the person's name is too long, right? And you don't want the user or the person that they're working with emailing that long string of names. So instead of doing that, you create an alias, a shortcut to that name. So then when you email it, it still goes to that same mailbox. And you may be asked to do this for a user. You may be asked to do this for a distribution group, which is groups up here, right? Or you may be asked to do this for a shared mailbox. So maybe the company has recently changed their I don't know, like their mailbox name, and you have to change it. So you have to go here and change it. So not here, obviously, on share mailboxes, but that's what you'll be doing. So all these Groups, share mailboxes. You may be asked to change it under email addresses. This is a tab for that. So you can change it and create another one. That's basically what that is. Then you have your mailbox features, the share policy, right? Share policy for contacts and calendar. Your role assignment for RBAC rules. Then you have your retention policy. There's like so much to talk about retention policy. When I think about retention policy, is the things that get archived that are automatically moved to a server. That's basically what retention policy is. So in some companies, your emails might be good for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. After 2 years, 3 years, it doesn't stay on your Outlook on your local PC anymore. It goes to a server and stores it on a server instead. And some companies might use Mimecast. Some companies might use Proofpoint. And then some companies might use the default Office 365 app, like the one I had right over here. They may be using this. And basically what that means is it's the emails are only good for 1 year. And then it gets stored on the server. So then it doesn't take up space on their local computer. Now it's on the server. Why do we do that? We do that because we don't want someone having 15 years of emails on their local machine, because then the whole PC will crash, right? So instead, we have it stored on the cloud or on a server or some sort of platform, which is, it could be Proofpoint, it could be Mimecast, like I said, it could be Enterprise Vault, it could be anything. Whatever the company is using, you're storing it in some sort of archive system. So it's not going to be local on the machine. It'll be on some sort of portal or some sort of add-in that you have to click on to open and log into that in order to restore that email and put it back on your inbox. That's basically what this is all about. I mean, I could make a whole in-depth video on this, which I am at some point, but don't worry about this right now. But if you get asked in a job interview about this, you know what it is now, right? So address book, obviously, is a policy that you set up for your address book. And then you have all the things right over here. You have disable exchange active sync. So what does that mean? That means the mobile device gets blocked from active sync. They can't add email on their phone. That's basically what that is. Disable OWA for devices. What does that mean? They cannot access the Outlook web app on their mobile device. You had view details right over here. You have this thing for email on your phone, MDM, mobile device management. So here you could allow it, you could deny it, right? Block it. You could wipe the whole phone and delete the whole phone if you want. And you create a rule for that similar mobile device. You click on it, right? Doesn't see it because I deleted the email, by the way. Then you could delete it. And then we're gonna do that right now, actually. We're actually gonna go over how to add email on your phone right now, actually. So now you guys know, at least you have something here. So this is a little bit, I'm covering a little bit of everything today because I want you guys to understand how things work, right? So this is what we're going to do today. We're actually going to go here and I am going to share my screen, right? Just give it a second. And my screen is being shared right now on my mobile device, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Outlook. I downloaded Outlook, by the way. Like, where did Outlook come from? I got it from the Google Play Store, right? I'm going to hit add account. I'm going to do Kevin. You know, my email is kevtechitsupport.com, right? It already auto-populate. I'm going to hit continue, right? Then I'm going to put maybe later to log in, right? It already added on my, I didn't have to authenticate or log in. I did this already earlier before, right? And then if you go over here, you go over here to my screen, it should show up right over here. And it's already there, right? On my mobile device, let me open it again. It looks like it's trying to download emails again. Yeah, on a mobile device, if you see there's the Outlook app, and then all these tabs right over here, all right? And then it's adding a draft right over there. If you click the gear tab right over here, right? I have to go over this because you may be asked to troubleshoot mobile devices with email, right? You have the option to remove focus inbox, which is really annoying. It tells you what it is, by the way. If you click on it, it tells you more information about it. And it says it prioritizes the important emails. I hate this freaking thing, by the way. So you uncheck it, right? You have organized email by threads. That creates a thread of emails of a person you're talking to. You don't want that. So you get rid of that. And you may be asked in your job to do this, by the way. I know this is a little silly thing that it seems tedious to you and it seems like simple to you, but for someone that's non-tech savvy, that does not know how to use a mobile device. You have to do this for them and help them with it. Obviously, we try to help the user. We try to make it as simple as possible. So I uncheck those two things, right? And then you have your swipe options right over here. You may have to walk them through swipe options. You have your notifications. They may want notifications for certain things. You don't know. And you have your calendar apps right here to connect other calendar apps. You have your categories right over here. And you have your Explore Microsoft options. And then if you click on your email app or your email name right over here, you have other options here. So if you get a call by a user or a customer and says, Kev, I'm out of the office right now, and I want to put my out of office reply on my computer, and I don't have my computer right now. Can I do it from my phone? Yes, you can. You go right over here and hit automatic replies. You check mark it. And then it says right there, reply to everyone, reply only to my organization, use different message for my organization's external account. You could do that right over here. It's entirely up to you. I'm gonna hit OK. You have sync calendars. If you want to sync your calendars, you want to sync your contacts, you want to block external images, you can. Suggest replies, text prediction, reset account. So typically what we do is to make life to make life easy for everyone, we do not delete the account. We try to reset it first before we delete it. So it's like a soft reset on the app itself. And that's basically what that is, right? So then if you get out of this, you have your OneDrive. You delete account for this as well. And let's get out of this. And it says automatic replies, turn off. I'm gonna turn that off. I don't know why I have that on, turn it on by accident. See now focus inbox is gone. And the reply to thread is gone. If you do filter, you have filter by unread, flag, attachments. You have your new email right over here. So you can click a new email and we got it. You put your attachments right over here. You can take a picture of something if you like. That's entirely up to you. You have your email right over here, BCCCC. Attachments. This is for sent availability. And you have a few other things right over here. It's very interesting, actually. If you look at it, there's so much to do here. There's troubleshooting, software license. And if you're having an issue with the product right there, you could contact Outlook mobile support if you want. That's entirely up to you. And you have this other option right over here. Play my emails, listen to emails later, right? And you have all these other options right over here. If you click on settings again, you can go back over here. Like I said, you can sync your information. You have your swipe options, week to start, Sunday, appearance. If you want to change the appearance, if you want to make it dark, blue, red, you could change the settings if you like. Now it's extremely bright for me. You could change it to dark if you like. I'm changing it back to dark. You put a picture in there if you like. And yeah, and you have your calendar right over here. If you want to look at your calendar, you can. Today's Father's Day. I know today's Father's Day. I hope you guys are having a great Father's Day. Today's Father's Day. You have your tab right over here, and you could create an event right over here if you like. You could make it a Zoom online meeting if you want. Entirely up to you. I have my Zoom plugin combined together with Outlook. That's the reason why it's showing up like that. And you click right over here. You have your days, 3 days, month, agenda. You go back over here. You have your separation of calendars that you have created. You want to get out of this screen, you just hit the mailbox right over here. You want to do a search, you click right over here. You do Kevin, right? We search for Kevin. And it searches for everything. And if you're not happy with the search, right? You're not happy with your search, just click on filter right over here. Include deleted items and has attachments. And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it for mobile devices. I mean, I could show you more stuff you could do, but this is all you care about. You may be asked, like, how do you do this on the Outlook app? How do you do this on the Outlook app? How do you do that? Or how do you reset my Outlook app? Or how do you remove organized by thread? Or how do you do this and remove the focus center? You know, so you may be asked about a focus inbox. You may be asked about that. You don't know. We don't know. So you wanna look into that. Okay. To make it out of this. And I'm going to stop sharing my phone, and it looks good. And I'm going to stop sharing. So now you see here, it says access granted right over here. I'm going to leave this. I'm going to reopen it again. It says access denied, which is fine. I'm going to delete it right over here. And I'm going to hit OK. And then when you do that, let's see what happens if I do that. All right. gonna refresh my page. There's no emails. It's gonna give you a notification. So I had a notification earlier about deleting my my mail, which is fine. It's okay. So I'm gonna go back to that tab right there, right? Let's go back to this. All right, so I went over this. Now we go over email connectivity. So what is this? So this is to disable the Outlook on the web, to disable this one. So I'm gonna disable it for fun, and I'm gonna show you what happens when I disable it. I'm gonna hit save, right? Hit OK. Right. Clicked on the wrong one, which is fine. I'm gonna open this up again. I'm gonna go back to this. Just give it a couple. It takes time to replicate. So remember we went over this. So we went over IMAP and POP3. So if I disable these two things, the outlook of the person's account is not gonna work. It's gonna be all messed up. Remember IMAP, MAPI. Remember I went over this. Yeah, it's basically what it is. Basically, you go in here, I disabled it, and the Outlook app doesn't work. So litigation hold, this is pretty cool actually. If you click on it, right? Uses properties to specify how long the mailbox would be on litigation hold. Use the days to specify the duration. For infinite duration, simply leave this empty. So when this user's mailbox is put on litigation hold, the user can create deleted items from their mailbox, but the items are retained by exchange. That's basically what this is for. And then you have, I'm just gonna turn it off. Then you have archiving disabled, archiving the details, right? It tells you right here, unlimited storage is premium feature, plan 2. Basically, you could create an archive retention plan right over here. Remember, we spoke about archiving, right? This is basically what it is. So I'm gonna disable that. And then you have your mail flow, which is your delivery options, right? If you do enable mail forwarding, what happens is you could basically, the Kevtech email gets forwarded to another account. So here you hit browse, and maybe I want Caesar to get my emails, right? And I want it to get delivered to my inbox, both addresses. So this is deliver message to both forwarding address and mailbox. Anytime an email gets sent, it goes to both places. That's basically what it is. And this is basically the number of recipients allowed a BCCCC on an email sent by a user. So I could change this to 1,000. I could change it to 900. I could change it to 2,000. So this is the maximum number of recipients that I'm able to add on a CC or BCC line or a 2 line. That's basically what it is. So if you ever go to a job and it says you no longer, or you have no space to add another recipient, it's probably because of this. They probably put like some sort of policy on this. So this is what this is. It actually creates a copy and sends it over to Caesar. Why would you do that, by the way? Let me go back to this. What's the purpose of this? So this is basically, if someone leaves the company, like someone leaves the company, you put an out of office reply. What you do is you put an out of office reply. And some people don't know that person left the company, right? So what you do is you enable this and it goes to the other person that has that position now. So say, for example, someone leaves marketing, right? And you have a new guy that just got hired for marketing. So the guy that was let go, the guy that left the company, his email gets forwarded to the new person, and then they get the emails from that person. So that's why you enable mail forwarding. That's basically what that's for. That's why you would do it, if that makes sense. Then there's a message size restriction, which controls the maximum size of messages. So if you have an email, right, and you get like a message error when you're sending an attachment to someone, you're going to get an error message saying that the file is too big. Please try again later, or please send again later, or please try again later. The server will say something like that. It will give you an error message. You only have a limited amount of size of attachments that you could send to someone. This is basically what this is. You control the size of the file that you send to someone. That's what this is. So I could actually restrict it if I want. I could say I only want it to be 1 KB, and just delete all that. You could change it to whatever you want. And then here is message delivery restrictions. So these are messages that you could accept from people. And these are only this is right here. This select this option to allow this user to receive email messages sent by everyone. But then here you can block it and add only a certain sender in here. Require that all senders are authenticated. See, it gives you more options right over here. And then you can reject emails from a certain someone or something. That's basically what this is for. It's pretty cool, actually. There's a lot of information right here. And you have your member of. So this is distribution groups. I'm part of Kevtech group, Kevtech IT support, service desk. Just groups that you get added to. So if you want to add someone to a group, you don't do it from here, obviously. You can't do it from here. You go into distribution group or groups up here and then add it that way. Then you have your mail type. This is a mail type to display when people send emails to this user. The mail type can have a maximum of 175 characters. Like see, it says here, I'll give you an example. It says you an example right here. Please allow up to 2 business days to respond. So you could actually create some sort of like message that you want to display for you when someone tries to message you. And before I go into mail delegation, I want to see if this actually worked. So I disable email connectivity, right? So I'm going to refresh this. And it's probably taking time to replicate. So let me go back here. So I did disable it, right? Still not replicated yet. So let me see if I can. Email connectivity disable. There we go. That's the message I was waiting for. So this is right there. Mailbox being accessed doesn't have the valid account state. Protocol disabled. So remember, we talk about protocols, right? It's disabled. I disabled it. So I went over here and I disabled it. So I'll go back here and enable it, right? I'm going to go ahead and enable it again. It takes time to replicate, by the way. This is not like a one-time thing that it's fast. It takes a little bit it takes a couple of minutes. The reason why I'm going over that is because in a job environment, right? You might have the Outlook app on your computer, but you may not be able to go to the website. Some jobs is blocked. I know people that work with me. I think Steven, that he has a job in his company and the Outlook web app on the browser is blocked. And that's because of this reason. This is why it's blocked. It's because of that reason. They blocked it on the server, on Exchange server. They blocked you from going into your browser and then accessing it. And that's basically what this is all about. That's basically what this is. All right. Now I'm going to go to mailbox delegation. So you have your send as permission, allows you to send email from this mailbox. And a message appears to be sent by the mailbox owner. Then you have your send on behalf permissions, allows you to delegate send email or behalf of this mailbox owner from this line. And is sent by indicates that the message was sent by the delegate on behalf of the mailbox owner. Then you have full access permission, allows you to delegate open mailbox and behave as the mailbox owner. So how does this work? I'm going to actually did it already. So if I went into, I believe did it for Caesar, I believe, right? I added myself as a send as behalf for Caesar. I ended myself as send on behalf and send as. I also added his mailbox to my account. So how does that work? I'm going to show you right now. So actually, I'm going to go into my VM, right? And if you know anything about Office 365, you need to download it, right? So we're going to go into office.com, right? I'm already logged in. I'm going to hit install. And I'm going to hit premium Office apps. And I'm going to let it install. I'm going to hit open, right? And this is very important, by the way. So you may work in a job environment that they don't use VPN, right? They just have a personal computer and they have to get into their email. They want to install Office 365 on their PC, right? So you need to know about this. So you may be doing this for someone. So you may be like, okay, such and such, Nick, I need you to go to office.com and I'm going to help you log in. And I need you to go to install Office app and install it. So that's basically what this is, right? And if you go to the gear tab right over here, you have your theme. You could change your password right over here. So maybe the user does not know how to change their password and they're very uncomfortable with changing their password and they don't know how to do it. You walk them through. Go to office.com, click the gear on the top right-hand side, and then click change your password. And then you could change your password. So you just, those are things you need to know. If you're doing help desk or IT support, you may be helping them with this. You don't know, right? So then if you click over here, you do view my account, right? Let me just expand it a little more. You probably can't see my whole screen. Let me size to one. Okay, it looks good. Yeah, you have your security information. You have your devices. So you manage your devices right over here. You can sign out, password, settings, Office apps, subscriptions. If you click on this, organization, click on this, you have all your apps right over here. Click on this, You have switch organizations, and you could sign out as well. And you have your security information, organization. Wait, I'm going to close out of this. I'm going to hit cancel. Actually, I'm going to close out of this. Close out of this and let that install. So I want to do it from the beginning because I want to show you what happens when you log into Office 365 for the first time. Then I also want to go over send on behalf access. Then I also want to go over mailboxes of me accessing Caesar's mailbox and how you will do it on the mail application itself or Outlook application itself, and how to do it on the actual web interface. So how to go into someone else's mailbox on the web interface. So we're going to do both today and show you how to do that. And then after that, I'll wrap it up after that. Just so this is basically a little bit of everything. It's not just me, talking to you the entire time without explaining anything. All right. So while that's downloading, I actually want to show you. Let me see if it works for me. So while that's downloading, I'm going to do it on my computer because it's actually, I think it's almost done downloading. Yeah, it's done downloading. Okay. Well, surprise. I was about to go over something, but seems like it's done. So actually, it says still not downloaded yet, so I'm gonna leave it alone. Let me minimize it. So hopefully this works now. Let's refresh it again. It's working. So I gave myself access to Caesar's mailbox, right? How do you open his mailbox? So if you go to the top right-hand side and you open another mailbox, if I type Caesar in here, it should let me get into it. So if I type Caesar and hit open, it should let me open his account. So you see his account's right here. Look, I'm on his account right now. So why would you do this? So if you're Helpdesk or IT support, you may be asked to do an out-of-office reply for Caesar or for someone else. So you give yourself mailbox access to their account right over here, right? You go in here, you add yourself as full access. In some jobs, you may have access to this, you may not, right? And then you wait a couple of minutes because it takes time to replicate. Then you go in here and you do open another mailbox. And then you go in here and then you could do a bunch of things right over here. You click here, you click view Outlook settings. You have your attachments, you have your rules, you have your general, your notifications, right? You have your mail right over here. Automatic. So I could set up an automatic reply for Caesar. He's no longer part of the company, right? So I could do it on his behalf. Or I could do it if they want me to do it. If they want me to do it for them, I could do it for them. So that's basically what this is for. So now I have access to the whole mailbox from here. And I could delete their mailbox. I could do so many things right over here. I even have access to his calendar. See, it still says Caesar. If you see all the way at the top over here, it says Caesar. I still have access to his calendar. Now, if I want to get out of this, I'm just going to go open another mailbox, type Kevin again, open. And I get out of that and I go back to my screen. And then I'm going to go back to mail. So now I'm back on my mail. So that's basically what that is. You could actually open someone else's mailbox if you have full access to it. You could do so many things. Just be careful with it because you could delete their email, you delete their calendar. It's like so many things you could do in that. So now I'm going to show you how it looks like on the Microsoft Office app. So it should be fully downloaded already. It is. So we're going to go open up Outlook. Right? It should open. Give it a second. It's going to be a little slow. Little slow. Just give it have patience with it. So now if you go here, right? I have a distribution group called tech support, right? Have my favorites right over here. Have my search right over here. And looks like the mailbox isn't here yet. So typically when you have a mailbox, right? It actually adds it on top of your mailbox. So if you give yourself access to someone's mailbox, it actually adds it on top of the mailbox. So like it's actually a little slow right now. So just give it I think it's doing something. That's why it's extremely slow. So let me exit out of it again. And let me reopen Outlook again. It's because it's adding his mailbox. Look at that. See? That's why it's extremely slow. It's opening Caesar's mailbox. So if I check that, right? Now I have access to his mailbox and I have access to my mailbox. And then when we talked about archiving, right? Remember I talked about archiving? This is what I mean by archiving. So I'm gonna go to file, I'm gonna go to account, I'm gonna go to account settings, click on change. See? Use cache mode, exchange mode to download email to Outlook profile. So I could set it for 3 months, I could set it for 5 years, I could set it for all time, 3 months. So in your job environment, you might be doing this. You may be doing this. Your job might have it set for 1 year. Your job might have it set for 6 months. Your job might have it set for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, all time. So basically, this whatever stays here, it's whatever gets stored on the computer, on the local computer. And where is this, by the way? Where is Kevtech IT support.com? Where is this data file? Right here. Data files are right here. Where is this Outlook profile? Hit open file location. It's right here. So as you keep getting emails, the inbox gets a lot bigger. And that's basically what that's all about, right? So now I'm going to show you what the send on behalf access is, right? So if you click new email, I'm going to go to email. I clicked it too fast, right? Expand it, right? You have these different tabs right over here. You have insert, you have options. Options will be the one that you will do, right? You have the from option. So when you hit the from option, it enables this from tab, right? You hit other email address. I'll type Caesar and see if Caesar pops up. Caesar Morales. So we're gonna go into Caesar. So you get stuck right over here. You could do it this way. So Caesar, okay. It's retrieving template from the server. Give it a second. There we go. Now it's Caesar at kevtechitsupport.com. And I'm gonna email myself. And I'm gonna do tests. And I'm gonna send it. And let's see if it works. If it does work, you should see an email coming through. There we go. Test is right there. Now, how do you confirm that that email was sent from Caesar? It says right there, Caesar sent to Kevin Parnario. How do you confirm even further? Remember, I have access to his mailbox, right? Let's go to send items. It's right there. It's actually supposed to go to both of them, but there's a special command you need to run to do that, by the way. So this is another story for another day. This is an issue right here. So I had this issue before where someone sent on behalf of someone else and it's not in their send items. You have to do something for this to work, by the way. That's why it's not there. If you go here, it's right here. But if you go to inbox, it's sent by Caesar. So, and that's it. That's pretty much it. That pretty much covers everything for today of Office 365 mailboxes. I'm going to go over them one by one. Hopefully this video makes sense. Hopefully you learned something from this. I was actually super excited to go over this because this is something that I actually wanted to go over for a really long time. Before I let you guys go, I want to say thank you. Thank you, Buy Me Coffee gang. I have a website called Buy Me Coffee. Thank you guys for buying me coffee, drinks and beers. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, my YouTube memberships, and thank you, Discord community, and thank you everyone who has watched this video. I hope this video helps you out. I hope you guys have a great day. You guys know what to do. I don't gotta say anything. And share this video with your friends. Maybe they need help with Office 365. Maybe they need help at Exchange Admin Center. I had to break it down a little more because I don't want to make it too complicated. All right. With that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday, and I hope you guys have a good Father's Day. Take care. Peace. Hey guys, how you doing? It's Kevtech here, bringing you another video on information technology. I hope you're having a good day. Happy Sunday. And today I'm going to go over Office 365 groups. If you guys haven't watched my previous video, go watch the previous video. Today I'm going to go over groups. So let me share my screen with you and show you what I'm talking about. Okay. Screen 3. So today we're going to go over groups, how it's used in a job environment and why we use it in a job environment. And I have a PowerPoint slide right over here. Obviously, we're going to go over Office 365 Exchange groups. I'm not going to go over every single detail here on each tab today because it's too much information. So today we're just going to go over groups. Okay. So there are different types of groups. So if I go here to the tab right here, you could see there's distribution group, there's mail enable security group, there's a dynamic distribution group, and then there's this one that's called new Microsoft 365 group. And I have slides here, so I'm going to go over every single one of them and explain to you what they do and how they're using a job environment. So Microsoft Office 365 groups is a service that works with Microsoft Office 365 tools. You already use it so you can collaborate with your teammates, writing documents, creating spreadsheets, working on a project plan, scheduling meetings, or sending an email. You don't have to worry about manually assigning permissions to all those resources because adding members to a group automatically gives them the permissions that they need and the tools they need. Additionally, groups are the new and improved experience of what you'll be using in a distribution list or share mailbox. So this is like a combination of mailboxes and a combination of a distribution group. So groups and Outlook, what kind of groups should you create? So it depends on the environment. Obviously, it really depends where you work. Well, considering the options, it's important to remember that one size rarely fits all. Is exactly true. Different teams may prefer to work with different ways of Microsoft 365 tools to enable collaboration. So you may want to have a Microsoft 365 group. You may want to have a Microsoft Teams collaboration environment. You may just want to have a group for Yammer. It depends on the environment, right? It depends. You may just want a distribution group, and that's it, which is the regular group, right? A primary purpose of a security group is to assign permission to Active Directory resources to a group of users instead of assigning permissions to individual users at a time. A mail-enabled security group can be used to distribute messages to group members as well as to grant access to permissions to resources. Mail-enabled security groups have most of the features and properties that distribution groups do, such as the ability to configure membership, approval, delivery management, mail tip, and group delegation settings. Groups in Outlook. If your user address email, your users address email to multiple people, why not create a group in Outlook instead of the DL? Groups in Outlook offer you everything to DL. So this is, let me stop sharing for a second. So people are like, what the hell is a distribution group? Why is it? I don't understand. What is it? So to make it in simple terms, think about it in your head. Distribution. So you're distributing emails in a group. So basically you have, instead of emailing 100 people, right? Why not just put everyone in one group? So then when you email them, it goes to everyone in that group that's part of that group. So that's basically what a distribution group is in a non-technical way. So when you go to a job interview, you could say that. So basically you're distributing an email to a group and it goes to that group, and whoever's part of that group gets the email. Everyone that's in that group gets the email, because we're not going to email 100 people, 400 people, 500 people. That is just like too much work. You imagine me creating an email thread and I type each individual name of each person. Why not just put them all in a group? If they're, for example, like a real example, what if they're HR, right? And HR has 100 people. Why not just create an HR distribution group and have them, just email them that way? It doesn't make any sense. Why would I email a bunch of people? Like when you have a group you could create, your company may ask you to do that too. The company you work for may ask, I need you to add Sally, Joe, Jose, whatever, to this distribution group, so they all get the same email at the same time. Because a lot of people know, like some people that work in finance or whatever thing they do in the company, right? Some of them know what a distribution group is. Some of them don't know what it is, but some people know what it is. So when you go to a job, you actually understand what they're talking about. Oh, okay. So they want me to add Sally to that group. Okay, that makes sense. I'll do it right now real quick. So that's basically what I wanted to say. Let me share again. So now we went over that. Today, I'm just going to open up a group and show you how it works and how it's used. So the distribution group is to distribute emails to a bunch of people that are part of that group. Don't confuse that with security groups. A lot of people confuse that with security groups. So when you think about security groups, I'm going to open up Active Directory, which is open right here. And you go into users, right? You have something called security groups. So when you have a security group, right? I'm going to expand this. When you have a security group, don't confuse it with security group. Look, you see, these are different types of security groups. They're designed to create permissions in security. A distribution group and a security group are two different things. So don't confuse it, okay? Because a lot of people confuse it sometimes. So when you go here and you go into group, you'll be asked to do this. You'll be asked whether it's global, universal, you'll be asked to create a distribution group, right? You put it in here and you hit OK, and then you add a bunch of people to it. So for example, let's just say for hypothetical example, right? I go in here and let's call it tech support, right? And then we add a bunch of people to it. It's a distribution group, right? You hit OK. So when you click on it, look, it's not the same thing. It says distribution group. It's different. You go here, you have your members, you add your members, you have member of, so you could add into other parts, and you have managed by. So sometimes in a job environment, the manager will be right here, and the manager can update the group to whatever they want. So if you add a manager here, right? Manager can update membership list. You hit OK, you hit apply, and they have the ability to update the distribution group. So sometimes, depending where you work, it might be done in here, or it might be done in here in your job environment. So like I said, let's go over a group. I created one called service desk, right? Let's look at it. So we have something called ownership. We have display name, aliases. Remember I explained what alias is? And you have the drop down here. So sometimes you may have a job environment that they have multiple domain addresses or multiple email addresses that they use, right? And the ownership right here. Who's the owner of that distribution group? So sometimes I have to go over this. Is really important. Sometimes you ask yourself, who created the group, and who should I talk to get approval to add someone to a group? So you want to look at the owners. The owner of the group is gonna be the one that approves the distribution group, right? Sometimes there may not be anyone in here, so you may have to go talk to your manager. You may have some sort of approval process in your company. It really depends where you work, so just keep this in mind, okay? You have members. Obviously, you have members you add over here. Then you have membership approval. See where it says close? Say it says here open. I'm going to expand it because you probably can't see my whole screen. There we go. Anyone that could join this group without being approved by group members. Close. Members can be added only by group owners. All requests to join will be rejected automatically. So owner approval. All requests are approved and rejected by the group owner. So it's basically this person right over here. Choose whether the group is open to leave. Open. Anyone can leave this group without being approved by the group owners. Close. Members could be removed by the group owners or request to leave and rejected automatically. You have deliver messages right here. Only senders inside my organization. So this is very important right over here. So sometimes we have to go here and allow it. So what does this mean? So this is the email address, right? So it's service desk support at kevtechitsupport.com, right? It's close, and it says senders inside and outside my organization. So that means anyone that's using like an external email, right? Like Gmail, MSN, Hotmail, whatever email they're using, they cannot email this group. You'll get a bounce back actually, because this is not checkmark right over here. So basically it says only senders inside my organization can email that group. So what is a bounce back? What does that even mean, Kevin? You're not making any sense. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So before I show you what I'm talking about, let's look at this. So messages sent to this group have to be approved by the moderator, right? So you have this option as well. You have a few different options actually. So it's really important. So you have moderator approval. You have email options, right? So you have this ability right here to actually update the email just like before. So I went over mailboxes. It's the same thing. You could update the email and make a primary email address, make that the reply email address. Then you have mail tip, right? Then you have group delegation. So people can send on behalf of that group, of this group service desk, the service desk email. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to show you what happens. So I'm going to open up a new tab. Give me a second. Just bear with me. And I am going to open up a new email. See if it lets me expand it, right? And open it right here. So the email address, what's the email? Service desk support at kevtech.com, right? So we're going to go here. We're going to type service desk support at kevtech.com. That came up right away. I'm going to do tests, and I'm going to send an email, and just give it a second. Give it a second to see if it works. I'm using my Gmail account right now. Give it a second. So this is what it is. Look at this. So you get this weird error message. So this is what happened. This is a real life scenario, by the way. I'm recreating a real life scenario. So this is a message you'll get right here, because it's not allowing, you didn't allow it to accept emails from outside the organization, which is this option right over here. Look at this, show you. So here it has to be check marked, and you have to hit save and allow it. Otherwise, you'll get a bounce back. What is a bounce back? This is the bounce back right here. Look, this group service desk only accepts messages from people in its organization or on its allow senders list. Your email address isn't on that list. Service desk action requires sender not allow. You get all these weird error messages, right? It appears you aren't in the same organization as the group or subgroup. You're sending to your email address that isn't in the group's allow center. Ask the owner of the group to grant you permission to send, and then try again later. So you get all these weird SMT blah 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 blah. You get this weird error message, right? So what the hell is that? What is this? Why are you getting this? It's because you didn't allow it. So you have to go here, right? You have to actually allow it. And when you allow it, you're not gonna get that weird error message anymore. It should work. So when you do that, it should work. So while we wait for that to replicate, I'm gonna actually show you how to actually open the service desk email on your behalf. So if you go into webmail, I added myself as a delegate, right? So if you go here, you see Kevin has access to do it. Kevin has access to send. How do you do send on behalf? It's the same thing as the other one. So if you go into office.com, and if you go into Outlook, right? If you go to new message, and if you go here and you type service desk, should that you do it? Give me a second. It's gonna be a little slow. So you have insert, switch to plain text, show message options, normal. So you have the to sign. You should be able to send on behalf. You probably can't do it here. Let me go into my other Outlook. So I'm gonna go into Outlook, the app itself, and show you because it's much easier that way for me. Give it a second. There we go. All right. So we're gonna go into new. I'm gonna drag that over here, right? And see there's a to and CC sign right here. You go into insert, there's options here, right? You go into the from sign right here, see? You hit the little drop down, you hit other email address, and you hit from. Just give it a second. It's gonna be a little slow. Click on service desk. You hit OK. So now you're sending on behalf of service desk support at kevtechitsupport.com, and you could just email yourself. You could email yourself. You could email whoever you want. I'm gonna put to my name, my own name, right? So I'm gonna do check for names, and we're gonna do test, and we're just gonna send an email to ourselves, right? Let's give it a second. It's right there. See, and it's sent to service desk, sent from service desk, right? So now I'm gonna show you the same thing, right? The same thing. I'm gonna do it on the Gmail account because I just remember I approved it, right? I approved it. I actually allowed it. So let's try a test email again. So I'm gonna send, and let's see if I get another. Let's see if I get another bounce back. I shouldn't. We'll see if we get another bounce back. Just give it a second. It might take time to replicate, but you should be able to send emails from your Gmail account now because you just put it in the allow list. So there it is. Look at that. My Gmail account worked. Look. So it actually worked. So now actually it worked. So that's basically the little weird error messages you get sometimes because you got to put it on the allow list. If you don't put it on the allow list, or you don't allow senders from outside the organization to send to that group, then it's not going to work. So that's basically what I did here. So I actually allow senders inside and outside my organization, and actually that worked. So you saw I got the email from my Gmail account. So obviously it worked. So those are things that you'll be asked to do in a job environment. That's why I have to go over groups, because people assume that it's really complicated when it's not. It's not rocket science. So it might be hard for you because everyone's learning. Everyone has their own way of learning. But basically, you just go here, you create a brand new group, right? And then you add the members in here, and then sometimes you have to you get asked, right? You get asked to, oh, can you please allow that group to get emails from external email accounts from people outside my organization? Because sometimes we tend to leave this on by default, and some companies leave it on by default. Some companies, they don't do that. So it depends what company you work for. So just keep that in mind. You may need approval for this too, actually. So just keep that in mind as well. So that is pretty much it for groups. You could send on behalf. You could do send on behalf access. You could create a group, and a group basically allows you to get emails, right? And anyone that's part of this email distribution group, they all get the same email. Makes life so much easier for us as IT help desk people or IT support people or people that do sysadmin or whatever, right? So that's pretty much it for today. Nothing complicated. Easy to understand. Try not to complicate my videos. With that being said, I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you, Buy Me Coffee guys, for supporting my channel. Thank you guys for watching my video, and thank you YouTube members, and thank you guys from Discord community, and thank you everyone else for helping me and supporting me with my channel. Hope you guys have a good day, and I hope this was useful. Okay, take care. Peace. Bye. Hey guys, how you doing? It's Kevtech here, bringing you another video on information technology. I hope you're having a good day. Happy Sunday. And today I want to continue with my Exchange admin videos. Today we're going to go over resources and how they work and why we use them. Obviously, if you're new to my channel, I do IT videos, desktop support videos, talk about how to get into IT. So you know what to do. All right, let's get started. So let me share my screen with you and show you what I'm talking about. All right, give me a second. So we're going to do screen 3. So today we're going to go over resources and why they're important and how we use them. So resources is a room mailbox that it's assigned physically to a location, such as a conference room, an auditorium, a training room, or with room mailboxes, users can easily reserve the room by including room mailboxes in their meeting requests. When they do this, the room mailbox uses options you can configure to decide whether to invite the room or accept or deny. Room mailboxes should never be set as the organizer of the meeting. Rooms should only be added to meetings by including them in the attendee or location fields. So, like, Kev, this doesn't make any sense. What does this mean? So, in my organization or my other job, we had Skype for Business. So in Skype for Business, you could invite the room and actually create a meeting with Skype for Business. And then when you invite the room, you could actually do a phone call within the room using Skype for Business. So that's how it was set up in my organization. Some companies are using Zoom now. So if you have Zoom conference equipment, you could actually set up a Zoom meeting with the room. And basically, room mailboxes allows you to reserve the room. So if you, for example, let me show you. I just created one, like literally just now, right? So, for example, this room, right, the 11th floor, I want to reserve the 11th floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to email 11th floor at kevtechitsupport.com, and it's this from New York. And then once you basically email the room, it reserves a spot for you. It's like making a reservation, basically. So you're reserving the floor, you're reserving the room, so then you could do whatever you want with the room. Like, why is that important? That's important because when you reserve a room, it's super duper important because then you keep yourself very organized. So as an IT professional, you may have 2, 3, 4, 5 different rooms, right? And you have multiple rooms here that you know it's taken or not. So then you could use a different room for a different person that has a meeting, if that makes sense. So that's the reason why we create these room mailboxes, is to keep ourselves organized and we know what's going on when we're having these meetings, if that makes sense. So that's the purpose of it. All right. And then there's other resources. There's equipment resources. So equipment mailbox is resource mailbox assigned to reserve that's not a location specific, such as a portable computer, projector, microphone, or a company car. After an administrator creates an equipment mailbox, users can easily reserve the piece of equipment by including the corresponding equipment mailbox in a meeting request. You can use the Exchange Admin Center, EAC, and the Exchange Management shell to create an equipment mailbox for Exchange equipment mailbox property. So what is this, Kevin? Basically you're reserving equipment. So now so when you click on the top right here, there's room mailbox, right? Then there's equipment mailbox. You could actually reserve equipment. So I could create a bunch of these for laptops, computers, PCs, tablets, etc., etc. So now instead of reserving a room, you're reserving an equipment, if that makes sense. You could reserve a bunch of equipment in your company. If that's what you want to do, you create a bunch of these and you could actually reserve it, if that makes sense. So that's pretty much what it is. And I'm going to show you how it works, like how each one works. And then we'll wrap it up after that. It's going to be a short video today. Shouldn't be complicated. Okay. So 11th floor, do more options. You could actually hide it from the gal, the address book. I gone over this before. You could actually add people here to allow the room, like they're basically they allow people to accept and deny. So if you put someone here, that person could accept or deny the request of the room that the person is trying to reserve. So basically that's what it is. You're a delegate of the room, you allow it or deny it. And then there's booking options here. There's contact information, more information about the room, where it's located, blah, blah, blah. Then there's the email address, this mail tip, and then there's mailbox delegation. So you could actually send on behalf of the room, just like a regular mailbox. You could do the same thing here. Just how I got over mailboxes in the top over here. You could do the exact same thing. You could actually get when you add the room, it gives you a whole mailbox just specifically to that room, and you can actually send on behalf of that room. You can actually email that room like a regular mailbox, if that makes sense. So that's pretty cool. I kind of like that. It makes life a lot easier for you, especially when you have different rooms and different floors. So I definitely love this feature and option, if that makes sense. Then there's the equipment or the equipment mailbox. You're like, what is that, Kevin? You click on laptop, right? There's general, same thing. You can hide it. There's the delegation for that. So you can add people here to decline it, allow it, same thing. Booking options, contact information, email address, mail tip, same thing, mailbox delegation. You could send them, give them access to the mailbox as the owner, and it's the exact same thing. And then that's it. That's pretty much it for today. Real easy video, simple to follow. Resources, you have your room mailboxes. If you want someone to have access to a specific floor, they reserve the floor. They use Skype for Business. Some companies use Zoom. Some companies use something else. So that's pretty much it for room mailboxes. And hardware equipment, same thing. If you want to reserve a laptop, a desktop, a PC, then you'll have this set up in your environment. Some companies may have this set up. Some companies may not. With that being said, I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. All right. Take care. Peace. Bye. Hey guys, how you doing? It's Kevtech here, bringing you another video on information technology. I hope you're having a good day. Happy Sunday. And today I want to go over Office 365 contacts and share mailboxes. Let's get started, okay? Let me share my screen with you and we'll get started right away. So we're going to go into screen 3. So today I want to go over share mailboxes contacts and how do we use it and why do we use it? Okay, so for contacts, it's Office 365 contacts are created by the administrators and are available on their people to all users in Office 365. The contacts are visible to all users in Microsoft Outlook, Outlook on the web, and mobile devices. These contacts could only be created and updated by Office 365 administrators. You can't add custom fields for birthdays, anniversaries, etc. So when we think about contacts, right? Think about contacts. You're like, what is it, Kevin? Think about contacts on your phone. But in this scenario, we use contacts for sending emails to certain vendors, people that work in IT, people that are consultants. And you could actually add contacts to distribution groups. There's a bunch of things you could do with contacts. So I'm gonna actually show you how that works. But before I do that, let me go to the next slide, okay? So we have share mailboxes. So share mailboxes is the type of user mailbox that doesn't have its own username and password. As a result, users can't log into them directly. To access the share mailbox, users must be first granted send as or full access permissions to the mailbox. Once that's done, the users sign into their own mailbox and then access the share mailbox by adding into the Outlook profile. In exchange to 2003 and earlier, share mailboxes were used as regular mailboxes to which an administrator could grant delegate access. Beginning in Exchange 2007, share mailbox became their own recipient type. So user mailbox and share mailbox. I know it's like the spacing is a little weird, but yeah. So basically they changed it up. So it used to be all together. Now it's user mailbox and share mailbox. It separated them. And the thing is, I get asked all the time about share mailboxes. Like, do you need a license for it? Is your answer right here. Your share mailbox can be stored up to 50 GB of data without you assigning a license to it. After that, you need to give it a license. Otherwise, you're gonna have a bunch of problems. So you need to have a license after you spend all the space on the share mailbox, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm gonna minimize that. Now I'm gonna actually show you how contacts work. And we have two different types of contacts. We actually have a mail user contact. So this is, you could add someone here and give them a unique ID and everything, and they could email kevtechitsupport.com. I don't really use this in my job environment. Some companies will use it, some will not. Depends on the company. I use the one on the top. So there's two different ones, right? Mail contact. So I want to show you how it works. So I'm gonna click mail contact, and when you do mail contact, right, you actually have the ability to put the person's first name, their last name, their display name, and their external email address. So I could put here Kevin Polinario, right? This is a unique identifier alias, right? And I'm going to put my email address. So you guys know my email address, right? So kevpolinario63@gmail.com. I'm going to hit save, right? And now it's in here. When you double click on him, right, you could hide it from the gal. You could put contact information where that person's from. You have their department, their title, their company, and you have mail tips. So, like, Kevin, what's the point of this? So if you have like a contact that works with the IT department, you could actually add them to a distribution group. Remember, I gone over distribution groups in my other videos, right? You could actually add a contact to it. So if I go here, right, and I go into service desk right over here, and I do membership, and I do the plus sign, and I could put Kevin Apollinario63@gmail.com. So now if I email service desk email, it should go to Kevin as well. So I'm gonna go here just for the fun of it, right? I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna go and do this, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do test email, I'm gonna do test, I'm gonna send it. And let's see what happens when I do that. And I'm gonna open up another tab. I just want to show you. So I'm gonna give you I want to give you the realistic, how you call it, like realistic, just how it's done in real life environment, right? So then you get an email from, because Kevin, the Gmail account is on service desk, it's a contact, right? Because you have that contact, he should have got an email. And did he get an email? Yes, he did. So it's right here. See? Service desk, because he's part of service desk, he got the email. So you're like, it still doesn't make any sense. So when you think of a contact as your phone contact, right? So you have a contact that allows you to add it in a group. Then if he's part of that group or she's part of that group, that person's able to receive emails. Typically, it's done with a vendor. So we have like a vendor, like a third party that's an IT consultant or someone that is not part of the organization. Sometimes we add into a distribution group. We may have a group here, right, that is specific to that vendor. So you have a vendor that you're working with. You may add them to a group. You may not. So every company is different. Every company is set up differently. In my past experience, obviously everyone's different. Like every company is different. In my past experience, I had worked with a CEO, a CFO, and then usually we put their Yahoo account over here, their Gmail account over here, and then we add them to certain groups here. And they may be semi-retired, but they're not. They're still working in the company. So you add them you create a contact for them, and then you add them to a group. That's just my past experience. I'm going based on my experience. Obviously, everyone is different, but that's my past experience. So share mailboxes, right? We have share mailboxes right over here. I'm going to call it, let's just call it Helpdesk for today. Call it Helpdesk. We got more options right over here. And let's see if that's me. I have to add people to it. Just give it a second. Helpdesk is already being used. Okay, so we're gonna do, let's do tech support. See if it lets me do that. Helpdesk is already being used by another name, so I had to change the whole name on the top and on the bottom. That's totally fine. Let's see if it lets me do that. Just give it a second. So I want to create a share mailbox just to show you how it works, right? So when you have a share mailbox, think of a mailbox that's being shared by everyone. It's so simple. That's as easy as it gets. It's a share mailbox you could share with everyone. What are the advantages of doing it? Is basically you could add a bunch of people to it. So I'm gonna add myself to it. Okay, upon Norio, right? And I'm gonna do send as access as well. So basically, that you have the ability to send on behalf of this mailbox. You have mailbox usage. I'm gonna get an error message because it's never been used before, which is totally fine. You have contacts, organization, email address. Remember, I got over this. Remember, I got over mailbox features that you have the ability to change the policies on it, mail flow, mail restrictions. Anyone, you can have a distribution group in here if you like. So I'm gonna hit save, right? Just give it a second. Give it 2 seconds. And let's just give it a little bit of time. So when you think about share mailboxes, you think of a mailbox you could share with other people. What are some of the issues I had in the past with share mailboxes? I'm actually going to show you right now. Let me open up my Outlook for a second. Let's see if it lets me load. It may get a little laggy because I just created another mailbox and I added myself to the mailbox. So it should show up here on the bottom left-hand side. Just give it a little bit of time to replicate. It does take time to replicate sometimes when you're actually adding someone to a share mailbox. And if that doesn't work, right, you can actually manually add it. So I'm going to show you a couple of things because I like to show people certain things you could do on this. So we have more settings right over here. You have settings right over here. Add. Let's do tech support. Let's see if it shows up. Give it a second. It's spinning and spinning and spinning. See the tech support mailbox is there now. I'm gonna hit OK. Just give it a second. So you see here it says download share folders. I have had issues in the past that if you check mark this to download share folders, it gives you a bunch of problems. So you may want to be careful with that. So now I have the share mailbox right over here actually, and it's probably gonna be a little laggy because it's a share mailbox. So let's give it a second. There we go. All right, awesome. All right, that worked. Good. So if I email, let's just email tech support. Do a test email. Send an email. And you get the email. There we go. It's a share mailbox. So you have a bunch of people added to the share mailbox. You just saw how I added myself. You add a bunch of people to it. What are the advantages of it? Everyone gets the same email at the same time because they're all part of the same share mailbox. What are the disadvantages of it? Sometimes you'll have a sync issue where I get the email, but then someone else doesn't get the email. Even though you're part of the same share mailbox, you may not get the same email at the same time. Sometimes you have issues like that where you have to actually recreate the mailbox, or you may have to come in here, like what I did, right? You may have to come in here and you may have to remove it and re-add it again, and that might fix the problem. There's a lot of issues with share mailboxes, just letting you know, by the way. I'm just going to be honest with you. And there's also categories. So some companies, like I worked in a hedge fund that they did publishing, right? So because they did publishing, they would put categories on the emails to let people know that they completed the task. So if they had a category for green, right, and it would say, oh, completed. They had a category, oh, this is for papers, oh, this is for newspapers, this is for publishing, this is for this or that. So sometimes you'll have issues with categories. So this is where your thinking cap has to come on, and you have to actually run like commands to actually try to fix your mailboxes. There are certain commands you can run. I'm not gonna go over that today, but those are the common issues you'll have in IT land. And if you go here, right? If I go here, and if I type it in, it pops up automatically. It shouldn't give me a bunch of issues. And I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do test. So I'm sending myself an email right now. And if I do that, I am getting an email from the tech support share mailbox. So it does work. It's pretty easy to understand. I hope it's easy to understand. So that is share mailboxes in a nutshell. you basically, the advantages of it is you have a mailbox that you could share with a bunch of people and add them to it, and then everyone gets the same email. Some companies may have a share mailbox for Helpdesk. So if you go and let me stop sharing for a second. That's pretty much it for today. But some companies have a share mailbox, and if you go to that company, they're gonna have a mailbox that you share with each other, and they all have the same mailbox, which is Helpdesk or IT support. And that email goes to everyone in that share mailbox. In my previous jobs, I have had that. In my previous jobs, I did not have that. I had that in another company. I had everyone added to a distribution group, and then the email goes to everyone through the distribution group to their regular inbox. Some companies may have this. Some companies may have share mailboxes, and then you get the email that way. So it really depends where you work. It depends on the company. I have to go over this because you're going to see this in your job, and this is something that you'll see in a real life environment where people are disconnecting, reconnecting from share mailboxes, and it doesn't work. You could also add an additional mailbox on your Outlook web app phone. I'm not going to go over that today, but you could actually do that. So you could add an additional mailbox on your phone if you have Outlook app on the phone. It may be some restrictions on it, depends on the company you're working for, but you could actually do that. Okay. Hopefully this helps you out. Hopefully, if you're brand new to IT, you understand what I talked about today, and hopefully this gives you a better understanding of contacts and share mailboxes. With that being said, I hope you guys have a good day. As always, appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up, and I hope this helps you out. And share this with someone that's brand new to IT that has never even heard of share mailboxes. I hope you have a wonderful day and a wonderful Sunday. Take care. Peace. Bye. Hey guys, how you doing? It's Kevtech here, bringing you another video on information technology. I hope you're having a good day. Happy Sunday. And today I want to go over Office 365 admin roles. Obviously, if you're new to my channel, you know what to do. Rate, comment, subscribe, follow me. I do IT support videos. I do desktop support videos. Sometimes I interview people. I do a bunch of different things. All right. So let me share my screen with you and go over it. So let's do that real quick. Screen one. So today we're going to go over Office 365 Exchange admin roles. They are role-based permissions. In the Exchange server, the permissions that you grant to administrators and users are based on management roles. A role defines a set of tasks that users can perform. For example, a management role called mail recipients defines the task that someone can perform on a set of mailboxes, contacts, distribution groups. When a role is assigned to an administrator or user, that person is granted the permissions provided by that role. So what does that mean in a sense, right? Like, Kev, what does that mean? So I'm going to show you in Google Chrome. So basically, you have the ability to grant the IT help desk or service desk or whoever is working with Exchange Admin Center. You have the ability to grant them certain permissions to do certain things. Because as a sysadmin, right, we don't want to give them access to everything. Because if you have access to everything, you could probably break the server, you could probably break the mailboxes. So you want to give them limited access to limited things, if that makes sense. So that's the reason why I'm going over this today, because you want to have some sort of permission limitation for the help desk folks that are trying to do changes on Exchange Admin Center. All right. Next slide. So the two types of roles. So there's the administrator roles. These roles contain permissions that can be assigned to administrators or specialized users using role groups that manage a part of Exchange organizations such as recipients, servers, or databases. Then there's end user roles. These roles assigned using role assessment policies enable users to manage aspects of their own mailboxes and distribution groups that they own. Role groups and role assignment policies. Sorry about that. Role groups enable you to grant permissions to administrators, specialized users. Role assignment policies enable you to grant permissions to end users to change settings on their own mailbox or distribution groups that they own. And these are all the permissions that are built in on Exchange Admin Center. Obviously, I'm not going to go over it here. I'm going to go over it on Google Chrome. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So I'm going to close out of that, right? And here it is. So I'm going over admin roles today, right? So there is compliance, discovery management, Exchange service admin, help desk admin. They will probably give you access to this one. So this one has reset passwords, user options, view only recipients. These are the things you could do on it. So that you'll probably have access to that. Or this one, it doesn't really have a lot of access. So depending on your sysadmin, depending who you're working with, you may have certain access, you may not. Like this one has recipient management, right? So it has the ability to just to assign distribution groups, mail recipients, migration, move mailboxes, recipient policies, reset passwords, team mailboxes, etc., etc. Then there's records management. There's security administration, security operator, security reader, tenant admins, management. So this is if you want to say, what is this? This is unified messaging system. So this is like if you sync Cisco Call Manager together with Exchange, you could actually do that, and you actually have access to change voicemail pins and voicemail passwords for someone if this is integrated with Cisco Call Manager, which in the future I'll make a video on Cisco Call Manager. You're going to enjoy that, but right now we're going to go over Exchange. Okay, so why is this important? Because you could actually create different groups here. As a sysadmin, you don't want to give them access to everything, right? So I could go in here, right? And I could call this Helpdesk, for example, right? Just call it Helpdesk. And then this is Helpdesk roles, right? And then I hit the plus sign right here. And then I could actually give people limited access to limited things. So like this is address that enables administrator to manage address lists, the application role, impersonate users in the organization, archive option, audit logs, compliance admin, data loss prevention, distribution groups, email address policies, federated sharing, if information rights management, journaling, legal hold application, mail enable public folders, mail recipient creation, mail recipients, mail tips, mailbox import, export, mailbox search. And then I could go on and on with all these other different things, which I'm not going to do today because I'm going to bore you to death if I do that. But this is very important because then you can add someone in here, right? And then you could only give them limited access to whatever you want, pretty much. So that's why this is very important. You need to know and understand why this works and how this works, because I know it's not Helpdesk, but you may be required to do that as a sysadmin. You may be required to give limited access to someone that works Helpdesk. You may want to only give them access to just view the dashboard and only have access to mailboxes. You may want them to only have access to create distribution groups. So that's why this is super duper important. And that's the reason why I'm going over this thing, because you wanna put limitations on the permissions, because you don't know what they might have access to that might break something. You don't want to give them access to everything. We don't do that in IT world. We give them limited access. And don't confuse that with Office 365 permissions. So this is separate from Exchange. Exchange and Office 365 permissions are two separate things. I'm going to show you what I mean by that, okay? Let me share my screen again. So I was like, Kev, what are you talking about? So if you go here, right, and you go to office.com, right, and if you go into admins, and I'll show you what I mean by that. If you go to users and you go to active users, right, let's just go to my account, right? This is my account. And you go into roles, right? See versus roles, manage roles. Don't confuse that with this. This is different. See, this is not the same as the permissions in here. These are two separate things. So don't confuse that with this. And if you highlight it, it tells you like has unlimited access. All the people that might work help desk or IT support or service desk, you may have access, you may not have access, but they may have access to this. This is what I have access to in my job. This is something that you may have access to, you may not. So this is full access to Exchange admin online and creates managed groups, manage service requests, and monitor service health. So you may have access to this, or you just may have access to view only, like you're only able to read stuff, and that's it, and change passwords, and that's all they give you access to, unfortunately. So depending where you work, your access may be limited, your access may be a little bit of everything. So that's the reason why I have to go over this. But this is separate, right? This is not the same as this. These are two separate things. Just keep that in mind. These are two separate things. So that's why I'm going over this today, because they're two different things. So that's the reason why I talk about admin roles, and I'm stop sharing again. Talk about admin roles and how it works, because you want to give them limited access. You don't want someone having access to everything. We don't do that in IT, and we try to set limitations to people because we don't want anyone breaking the server, if that makes sense. And that's it. That's pretty much it for today. With that being said, I hope you guys have a good day. I greatly appreciate it that you guys are watching my videos, and I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. And for anyone that's brand new, I suggest you watch my Office 365 90-day developer mode and how to get Office 365 for free. I'm going to leave below in the description of the video, and then you can play around with this and look at all the permissions. Okay. With that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Take care. Peace.